Alright, I'm going to be going over how to program the Rainbird esp-Smt smart controller. It's essential that you get the weather station with this controller and mount that up on the side of your roof, on a pole, but mount that and you're using that in correlation with this controller to get maximum effectiveness and water savings and a healthier, happy lawn. Now, set date and time is going to be pretty simple. Just the plus and minus will change it. It's August 8th, same thing next, 2015. Set the time. For controller configuration, you enter the zip code. This is 12345. Plus minus will just change it. Yes, this is correct. And then we're going to select by days of the week. This is even odd watering restrictions. I have it on odd days. I will select that. I don't want to block any days of the week, so I'll select none. You can select certain days and turn them on to block. Say, if you always mow on Sunday, you don't want it to water on Sunday, you can block out Sunday. I have 2 watering windows. It starts with just 1. We will set from 12:30 a.m. to, I want 11 a.m. And then a second watering window can be on and off. I just want it to water in the mornings maybe. And then block out block days, so this doesn't matter because we don't have any block days. Water every day except block days between these times during the block days. That's what that is. Shut off for watering for 1 full day. You can change the amount of days and you can change the amount of rainfall. You can go up or down. I'm going to do it for 1/4 inch of rain. It will block for 1 full day and won't water. So that'll just give you a review of what you did. It'll give you the zip code, the days it's running on, and it says no 31st. I think you can run it on the 31st, but we're not going to worry about that. And the watering window when the time is allowed. Daily watering window. Now we'll start inputting zone information, and this is where the real magic happens. We'll use the setup wizard, zone 1, and I will turn zone 1 on, enabled. We will choose the soil type, and here it is sandy clay or silty clay as they call it. So I'll move the arrow down to silty clay and select that. It will allow you to select the type of irrigation, whether it's a sprinkler or drip lines. Point source drip is where you put drip emitters just to each individual plant, and inline drip grids can be used and turf. Or you can use time-based and set an amount of time you want to water. I'm going to choose a sprinkler type. Select watering windows, first and second watering restrictions. Oh, no, wait. Yes. On restrictions. Sprays. Now, it's sprays, rotors. Sprays are stationary sprays that pop up and spray. Rotors rotate back and forth and cover a larger area. Rotary nozzles are nozzles that fit spray heads and they rotate around and water sort of like a rotor. Bubblers go right on plants, but for most part you're going to be using sprays and rotors and maybe some drip. This zone 1 for me is rotors. It'll give me the application rate. This is a good application rate to use if your Rainbird heads. Some of the older heads may use more. Hunter heads may use more. If they're 2.5, you might have to actually change up or down inches per hour. And then it will allow you to select slope. There is very little slope in this yard, so I will just set, I think it's probably about 3 to 4 degrees slope. A cycle soak, we'll do the automatic cycle soak. And it is ground, it is grass, turf. You can decide what plantings it is. It is bluegrass up here because I'm in the northern regions. Bermuda or St. Augustine if you're in the south. Root depth, it is definitely not 3 inches. I've been digging, I would say it's probably 2. And zone 1 is mostly sun. There are some small trees in it, but I'm going to do full sun. when the soil drops to 60% moisture, it's going to decide that it needs to water. That's what that is. You could do 50 or it'll go by each individual percentage. But 60 is fine. That's what is that, 1/5 of an inch of rain? It's established. And then we'll be able to program the next zone. Now zone 2, I will go on again. Zone 2 is the same silty clay. And we're doing sprinkler. It's like the same watering restrictions. This time it is sprays, and you'll see it'll give me a different application rate. That is good. And this is over an 8-degree slope because this is on the side of the house. So you'll see it'll give me a max cycle time is 4 minutes. And a minimum soak time is 40 minutes. So that means it will run 4 minutes and then it'll let it soak in and it'll run for 40 minutes, or it'll wait 40 minutes before it runs again. That's what this controller has determined. It's grass. It's bluegrass still at 2 inches. And instead, this is at 75% shade because it's shade for most of the day. And it's established. And once you're done with all those zones, you can go to special features. Now set units will allow you, if you go in there, you can go and select English or metric. We're going to leave it on English standard measurements. Event days are off. We don't want just specific days not to water. Advanced controller setup will allow you to. The ET factor is how much water is actually in the soil. We want 100% to run 100% right now. Zone to zone delay is going to help if you have some slower closing valves on an older system and you're updating, you might use zone to zone delay. They close kind of slow. We might do it 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes kind of deal. Suspend watering when rain reaches. I'm going to go up to 1/10 of an inch. And or the temperature drops below. I'm going to turn it up because I personally don't think it, at 45 degrees lower than that, I don't think you really need to be watering. It'll save more water that way. Short circuit test is just going to run through, make sure all your solenoids are working. This is a new system, so let's just give you a test on that. Select. And pretest. Oh, it's testing. It's going to give me a good for the master. I have no master valve installed. Zone 1 is fine. Zone 2, the solenoid is fine. Same thing. Okay, so they'll all come back up good like that. If you have a problem on the zone, you'll have to find that zone, and that's just for older systems, basically. You can save your contractor defaults once you're done programming everything. Yep, we'll want it to save. And what that allows you to do is if you come over here to System Restore, you'll see you can set the soil moisture level, but you can restore your contractor defaults. Restore. And those 2 zones I programmed in there will be in there in case it gets messed up or something. Now if you go to set soil moisture, now right away when you set your system, if it's dry like it is here, I'm going to leave it to dry and I'm just going to hit next and set all, because all the zones are really dry. If you've installed it when it's been raining or you've been watering and you just replace your old controller, you'll do it when it's wet because there's a medium and wet. System review will just go over everything. It'll keep a weather log and a weather data. Let's see how much weather data. I installed this yesterday, so it should, well, it'll give us a current temp the last, or rain last 24 hours. It hasn't rained. It's 90 right now. Great day to be installing irrigation. The other feature you're going to use is the Finetune Watering. This will give you all your zones here, and you'll just be able to select next. And now once your controller's been running for about a month, maybe 2 to 4 weeks, I would say, you can start trying, and it'll be percentage adjusting. It'll adjust 1% at a time. Now, so if you're still having zones that are dry, you can go up. If you're having areas of your yard that are too wet, you can go to negative percentage on each individual zone, and that's going to allow more or less water per those zones to kind of fine tune in and get the water perfectly where you want it. Other than that, there are really pretty simple. You can manual water, you can all zones for a certain amount of time for a couple minutes, or you can water a selected zones. It'll give you all the zones I have installed. I could just do 3 minutes, 2 minutes, a minute kind of deal. Or you could water just an individual zone, same deal. You can select the zone you want to water, zone 4, 3 minutes,